And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have a follow-on to the mushroom flautas that we did last week. This is the avocado salsa, or avocado chutney that we made that goes amazingly well with those flautas. Now before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that we have an affiliate link with Chef's Temp. If you need a kitchen thermometer or meat probe, please check out the link in the description below and use code LOVEYOURFOOD on checkout for 15% off your order. In the meantime, here's your ingredients. So we've got an avocado. We're going to be using some creme fraiche, but if you have crema, that's more appropriate. We're going to use some hot pepper relish, a lime, the juice from a lime, and some cilantro. So we're going to be burring all of this together in the end with our stick blender. So really all we're doing here is we're trying to make sure that the bits of stem or leaf for the cilantro are not so big that they'll get wrapped around the spindle of the food processor or the stick blender. And we're going to measure out exactly a cup of this. You don't want to go too far overboard with cilantro. We can take a lot of it, but we know most people don't adore it. It's really a very important flavor in this, though. You can replace it with flat leaf parsley if you really, really want. For the lime, we're just going to give that a little bit of a roll, which sort of breaks open some of those, cells in there so we can get a little bit more juice out. And we're going to use the juice from a lime here. And we don't really need to. Limes usually don't have seeds, so we're not going to bother straining this in there because we're not going to get any seeds out. And it's okay if we get a little bit of the pulp. Now, probably more traditional to use like a fresh serrano pepper or something like that in this, or a fresh jalapeno even. It's not really pepper season here, so we've got our fermented pepper relish, which we made from our own fresh peppers, and we're going to add that. It's nice and spicy. It's got a little bit of fermentation to it, so it's delicious. Mexican crema would be more traditional than the creme fraiche we're using, but for the avocado, we're going to open that up. We're going to remove the seed. And then the avocado is just going to go in. We're just going to scoop that out with a spoon, and it's going to go into the bowl with all of our other ingredients. And we really want to add any salt or and the crema, or in our case creme fraiche, last, and that's going to help everything sort of burr up. So in goes the avocado. You also want to make sure you're making this pretty close to when you want to eat it, because as you know, avocados will sort of oxidize. They'll sort of get that brown color on them. It doesn't look as nice. So you want to be ready to go. So in goes all of our creme fraiche, or like I said, crema would be more traditional for this. Whatever you have on hand. And then we're going to get our stick blender in there, and we're just going to blend this. You want to start from the top, work your way down to the bottom. And we're just going to keep going until it is relatively smooth. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfectly smooth. You're never going to get that with something like a stick blender. In fact, you're never really going to get that with a blender at all, unless you end up passing it through a sieve or something like that, which you can do, but we like to have the texture in there. We like to have the little bits, the cilantro and anything. That's just fine. And we used this on those mushroom flautas. It's so delicious. It's got a little bit of heat from that pepper relish, or from a fresh pepper if you use that. It's really creamy from the avocado and the creme fraiche. It's got a little bit of sourness from both the creme fraiche and the lime juice, and is really refreshing, delicious. We hope you'll give this one a try. And that's it. That's the whole thing. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. We'd like to thank our patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to support us there and help us keep doing this, we'll put a link for that in the description below as well. And remember to love your food.